All right, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Matthias, Sandra, A to Z Crafting, Ella, what's happening? How's everybody doing? Hopefully we get some more people in here in a minute. Not a lot of people today so far. Oh, here we go. Here we go. A few more people. Enrique, what's happening? Sharanya. All right, cool. I'm gonna just start drawing this. So check this out. Here's the reference. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I'm sure you have. In the thumbnail at least. So there's the reference. I thought it was pretty cool. Thought it was pretty cool. Kind of a different scene than something I've done in a while, you know. A little more landscape, but a little bit of architecture in there. If you're just joining, you're just tuning in, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. Hit the like button. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get to it. So I'm going to start off with I'm going to start off by placing the focal point, because that's kind of the most important thing. Going on, Jeremy? I know how that is, man. The cat just, the cat kind of calls the shots, you know what I mean? It's time to cuddle, then it's time to cuddle. Got to do it. Happens to me sometimes, even during the stream. So this is the major line. You know, it's kind of in the middle of the painting, but the roof of the houses pushes it a little bit up. So I'm not too concerned with splitting the painting in half because we have the water is only like this big. The mountains will be up here. So there's different heights of things happening. So technically the composition is kind of almost in half, but not really, because if you include the houses in the ground part, it's actually a bit taller. Hope that makes sense. Just trying to explain my composition a bit, because I know sometimes I'll critique somebody and I'll say, well, you cut the composition in half. So people are probably thinking like, why did you cut it in half? Well, technically I didn't. So this tree is very important, kind of off center. This tree right here. Let's try to be loose with sketching at this point. Greenery down here. So this is really my focal area here. So I'm just taking my time a little bit. The rest of these buildings, not really going to be too noticeable, you know, just kind of placed in there. Something like that. My eraser. Here we go. Let's bring this one down, make it a little bit smaller. And then up here we have the horizon line. So this is eye level, way up here. But we're kind of looking downhill into this thing. We got the mountains coming right here, the tree, top of the tree. I like that. I'm not sure where this place is. I don't know. Maybe Norway or something. I don't know. Pretty interesting. Monica says I make it look easy. Well, I mean, it's definitely not easy. That's for sure. But I understand what you're saying. It's just a lot of practice, you know. It's just, I've done watercolors a lot now. Still struggle from time to time. You know, there's always struggles, you know. Especially if it's something new I'm trying or something I'm not familiar with. Definitely going to struggle. So these leading lines are very important for this composition as well. They lead me, got to get the perspective pretty good, and they lead us to the focal point. But really what the important part of this foreground is the shadows, you know, the light and the shadows. Like over here, it's all light. So it's not too difficult, you know? And around the corners here at the bottom, I'm not really going to put a lot of detail or anything. Just kind of, I want to keep all the focus right here, detail here. Bring this up a little bit more, maybe. Yeah, that's better. So these kind of radiating lines of perspective really draw us into this focal point. Got high contrast here, really dark darks. Around this really light area. This is going to be the white of the paper right here. Oh, can't tell what that is. Let's see. Oh, okay. I kind of like that actually. So it's like another roof here. And then what happened? Let's go back to that. Yeah, the photo I'm using is actually very simplified. I have it kind of pixelated. So the reference I'm looking at on my computer, it's kind of pixelated. So I can't see like these kinds of details. I'm just seeing blobs of color, which is important for me to keep it simplified so I can just look at it and it's just blobs of color. So what paper do I use? I'm using for this particular one. It's for this watercolor, it's Arches Cold Press 140 pound. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't already. Is this from Unsplash? Yes, I believe it is, Enrique. And yes, Mattia, the horizon line is eye level usually. So this kind of shows us that we're looking downward. Because everything, this stuff is way below the horizon line. You know, we're not looking, the house isn't way up here on the horizon line. So that means our eyes, if someone's standing right in front of, on the camera, their eyes are way up here. Like if you're drawing their head, you know. So if we were to draw a person in this scene and they're standing in the foreground, like way up here, their head's going to be like up here and they're going to be very big. And that's kind of the perspective of this scene. But as they go down, you know, their head's not going to be way up there. It's going to be a lot smaller. You know, it's tricky when there's a hill like this. You don't really know. You have to just use a reference. Um, okay, let's get into this, I guess. So, as you guys know, here's my crazy palette. That's what I'm going to be using. Got an array of colors. I guess I'll show my palette colors if you guys want to know. I can show that real quick. So these are the colors that I use, if anyone's interested. These are the, yeah, I don't use all of them, but, you know, probably use like 4 to 5 main colors for each painting, something like that, you know. Depends on each painting. Sometimes I could use a lot less. For this one, I mean, the main overall harmony, when we look at the reference, we have the blues and purple blues at the top, greens in the foreground, and then these browns in the midground, the middle ground here. So very simple color scheme, but I'm gonna kind of mix them all around, you know. We'll bring some of the blue greens into the foreground, we'll bring some of the browns up here as well. Maybe some green into the water as it's coming towards us. You know, we'll try to create a harmonious scene rather than 3 different strips of color. You know, we kind of want it all to work together. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep these lines, these mountains back here soft. That's going to be the idea. So I'll probably start out with just a big wash of blue, light blue at the top. Let's do it. Let's just do it. I'm going to go into some ultramarine blue and a bunch of other crazy colors, but mostly blue. Kind of clean off my palette a little bit. Just a touch, not a whole lot. I don't need the color to be super pure, you know? It's okay if there's a little bit of gray into it. It's actually kind of useful. So I'll just wash this on here. I'll add a touch of Viridian to it. So I know I'm going to wash all the water here for the most part. So I'm just adding a touch of Viridian as it's getting closer to us, a little more green into it. Maybe a touch of red. Just add some purple tones to these mountains. Gonna lighten up this sky a bit now that I can do that. There we go. Go a little darker pigment here in this mountain. Now that the paper's starting to dry a little bit, I can get these kind of soft edges for these mountains that I'm kind of wanting to get. A little darker reflections and stuff in the water. More Viridian. Sorry, folks, just kind of concentrate here. I'll check the chat in just a second. Just want to make sure I get in what I want to get in here, because this is kind of time critical, time sensitive. Too dark, too much pigment. It's all right. We'll just use that. Kind of spread it around. I'm gonna go even darker, I think, with the pigment here. I know it's the first wash, but I don't want to do these mountains again. Hopefully. If I can get it in now, while it's still wet, I can try it at least. Spray this a little bit, just to keep it wet. Right there. We'll take some of this pigment off. We need a line for that mountain in the sky, or a mountain in the water kind of are different value. Just like that. So now we got some soft mountains back there. Pretty happy with that so far. I think I can go just keep working downward. You know, this is a little damp still, which I kind of like. I kind of want that. You know, I can even just wet it a little bit because I kind of want some of the trees to slightly bleed a little bit. Oh, what's going on, Nathan? Everybody, Lane, what's happening? Viridian is weak. Yeah, it is weak. But it's all good. It's all good. Do I have any guide for acrylic? I like watercolor. I have old videos of acrylic. Go check out my channel. Just go to the search bar, type in acrylic. There's probably some stuff on my channel. It's probably not going to be up there forever, but for now, it's up there. Okay, let's try to figure out the color of these roofs. Maybe some transparent red oxide, ultramarine blue, cadmium red, something like that. Looks pretty good to me. Put that down. Oh yeah, there we go. And you know, I don't want it to be a solid color. So we can put some red into it. Put some more blue in the parts of it. More transparent red oxide. Might be bleeding a little too much, but it's okay. I'm not going to panic. Just stay calm. You know, we don't want everything to be so um, sharp anyway, you know. We want some things to be soft and different. We'll use contrast of like lights and darks in this sharp edge here with the white and everything. We'll use all that to kind of get some focus into the painting, you know what I mean? So we got some trees here. Slight little splattering there. Some of the trees. Oh, it looks like I missed a house. I'll have to go and put that back in a minute. And some softness here on the trees. Let's get that roof back in here. Let's see. Roof right here. That's all it needed. Let's try to lighten up one of these. Maybe this one. Okay. What's going on, Ethan? Cubs win. Candy Williams. Kathleen. I'd like to see you do a portrait in watercolor sometime. Okay. I could try again. I've done a few. I've done one or two, but yeah, I could try. Definitely try. No doubt. Add more trees. I like trees. So see, we already got kind of a harmonious scene because I didn't paint this water so blue. You know, I had some purples and greens into it, so it's looking more harmonious already compared to, you know, what the photo is. The photo is it's very interesting kind of color scheme, I guess. So let's just keep going here. So I'll make the greens a little bit warmer as they get towards us, because we'll try to show that this is in the distance a bit. I think that's a good idea. Keep the greens just a bit cooler back here. And maybe warmer right around here in the focal point. A lot of nice dry brushing and stuff. Try to leave some of that. It's a little dark. Kill some of the dry brushing. Don't want to go crazy with it, but it is pretty beautiful. I like that kind of look, you know. It's definitely a cool effect to play around with. It's probably the most I've ever done in one paint. Let's see, let's add some bit of brown to it. More yellow, maybe. So I'm trying to paint over all this because, you know, I got to come back in and put some shadows in. So I'm not going to leave any spaces or anything. This is all in light right now. So let's see, the painting's actually a little bit darker. Something like that. There we go. So this is all the light areas. Yeah, that's true, Dawn. That's true. She says, I've started a daily sketchbook using mostly watercolor washes and trying to keep it loose. It is such a discipline to keep it loose. Yeah, I agree. It's so easy to just you know, slow down and start putting all these little details. Oh, look at all this little stuff, all these little leaves. You know, it's like it's so easy to get into that. You know, but yeah, it's hard to like keep everything loose and have it look fresh and good. You know, and like decent. You know, I like some of the dry brushing here, but some of it's a little too much. You know, probably try to fix some of it, but for now it's okay. We'll keep it. We'll just keep it rolling. Um, Hopefully the shadows, once I put in the shadows, it'll really warm everything up. It looks a lot cooler on the screen for some reason, but in person it's definitely a little bit warmer. It's always the problem, you know. Hello, how's it going? All right. Okay, okay. So I think this is, yeah, it's all pretty much dry, I think. Some of it's a little damp, but I'm not too worried about it anyway. So let's go into some of the shadows back in here. Let's get the focal point taken care of for the most part, and then that'll tell me how much I need to do in the foreground. You know, I don't want to overdo the foreground and then have it distract from the important part, right? So we got the little shadows to put in here. I think I'll make them like bluish purple for this building. It's usually pretty nice kind of color for the shadows. We'll see. See what it looks like. Should add some warmth to this overall scene, I hope. Something like that. Don't need to get too carried away with it. I can probably add some shadows back in here too, just to have some continuity between all, you know, harmony between everything. Yeah, that already helped it, I feel like. That already, you know, helped to bring some harmony to this overall scene. And some light. Yeah, so remember, I haven't put any dark, really dark darks in yet. You know, this is all light and midtone. Now I'm working into the reflected lights, and then I'm going to go into the darkest dark shadows. And then, so we kind of have two values in the light, which is this really high light, and then these other values, or this other value. And then we're putting in the shadow value, and then two values in the light, two values in the shadow. That's what I'm trying to go for. Trying to go for. Okay. I feel like I want to make this roof, this one roof, just a bit darker because it's facing kind of away from the light. Just trying to get the right color here that I want. I still want it to be warm, but I want it to be cooler. So just like a warmish brown, and then so this part of the roof, this roof here, is facing away from the light slightly, and that may be too dark, probably, but we'll just take some of that off. But it just gives the illusion of different planes facing different ways. Okay. Eventually I'll put the windows on last. That'll bring this whole thing together. So now we can move into like shadows on the trees, shadows in the foreground, some windows, boom. That's pretty much it, I think, you know. Maybe if I want to, I could go slightly darker back here, but like I said, don't even know if it's necessary. We'll see at the end if that's even worth doing, like maybe a slight glaze over these other mountains to bring them forward a bit. At least this one. Bring this a bit forward. But like I said, I don't know if it's necessary. It might be. Hello, Pamela. Thanks for tuning in. So let's mix up some darks here. Transparent red oxide, ultramarine blue. It's pretty much usually my dark like that. Maybe alizarin crimson or cadmium red, just to get it warm. Something warm. Although, should I put shadow shapes? What do these trees look like? It's hard to tell. There's not much shadow on the trees, to be honest. It's mostly just dark. When I squint, it's just like light shape, dark shape. It's like all I really see. So I think I just go straight for the dark. We'll see what it looks like. I can always go back and do like a mid-tone type of thing or something. But like I said, just try to keep it simple here. I might wet this so I can just work into a little bit of dampness so that maybe it'll soften it slightly. Yeah, there we go. I like that. Maybe too much shadow. Not a big deal. Just kind of take a little bit of it off. A bit better. Oh, I'm gonna soften this side. Get the trees soft, you know? That's my goal. Get these trees soft. Just make that a little more solid. There we go. Okay, touching it too much. Touching it too much. Gonna go into some window shapes, I think. I'm gonna try to anyway. See what it looks like here. What's the windows? Two windows there, and like a bunch of windows on that side. Okay. We got like big windows there. Maybe some smaller ones. Need to be darker. I guess that's dark enough. So there we go. Now we got multiple values on that building there. Looks pretty good. We can do that with some of these other buildings. Put like a little window back there. We need a shadow, small shadow. Small shadow here. Ever painted a storm? Yeah, I kind of have actually. I've plein air painted a storm off in the distance. It's pretty cool. We're really beautiful, rich purple clouds and stuff. Definitely have. Um, okay, let's just keep going with some windows, I guess. You know, we'll bring some more continuity throughout this thing. Something like that. Do some small ones here. Yep, there we go. Okay, so I need to do like some shadow shapes up here before I do darks, I think. So we can try it, I guess. See what happens. This one's a bit challenging. You know, I'm happy with a lot of this. This is a little too overworked, the trees and stuff. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I may end up glazing this whole shadow just a touch darker, just to push the contrast a bit, because the roof and the shadow are pretty similar value. I think I need it to be a bit darker, especially at the top there. So might be something I do. But for now, we'll move on. Glad to hear that, Olivia. Yeah, it's been working for me for over a year now, so I really love this camera. Glad to hear glad to hear it's working for you. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna do a cool green. So I'm gonna do shadows, which is gonna be cooler green, and then I'm gonna do these darkest darks, which is kind of like this color, this dark, warm dark. It's my idea anyway. Well, it's not my idea. I kind of stole it from other artists, but it's the idea I'm gonna try. See what it looks like. Just see what happens here. So I got some shadows over here. So this is where it starts defining foreground and kind of the perspective. Let's see. How is this? And I'm gonna have some fun here with splattering and stuff. Why not? Okay, now there's only right here, there's like shadows on the ground. I don't even know if I need darks in this one. So this, and then there's shadows coming off the ground like this. Mm. Yeah, this one's tricky. This one's tricky because there's just a lot going on here. And to make that look like rows of something, having the light be that one's very tricky. Let's try to soften some of this because I don't really need it to be, don't really want it to be like so sharp here, you know? Then it's distracting. Now I got my table all wet. Yeah, see, it's better when I do it like this, when it's not as defined. It starts looking better, so. Might as well try it a little bit. I can always go back and sharpen up some of it if we need to. But it's kind of better if we just don't really know all of it. Yeah. Yeah, this brush is awesome, Kathleen. I use it for like every painting I do. It's just perfect size, the way the water it holds, everything is just on point, you know? So I'm seeing if this might help bring more, I don't know, no idea. Bring more continuity through the colors and stuff. Let's try to add some blue into it as well. Cool and warm. Cool and warm. It's a little too sharp right there. A little too sharp. Got a hair on there. Come on. Just gotta wait till it dries, I guess. There we go. Got it. Okay, let me step back real quick because I've been sitting too close to this thing. I gotta step back, look at it as a whole. Just give me a second here. Yeah, I think it's actually not bad, you know? It's actually not too bad. It's just hard to see when I'm up this close. I get glare and then I can't see the thing as a whole. I'm not really liking some of these spots. A little too sharp, but I think I'm gonna dry it off. It's hair from the brush. It's one of these hairs. Hair from the brush, man. I have a lot of hair, actually. Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. I think we may need a little more definition. That's why I'm drying it off. I just want to see what it looks like when it's dry. Because I don't know if it's not exactly where I want now, but getting close, I think. Watching your color mixing as a screen would work. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a camera for that setup, and I have literally every port on my computer is taken up from my microphone, my second monitor, this camera USB. You know, I don't have any more USB ports, so and I don't have another camera to set up that would make it easy. Because I wouldn't mind showing that, you know, just having it be that be my screen, but just not there yet. I don't have a setup like that. Hmm. Just trying to look at it. I'm trying to see. I think darkening the shadow would help because it'd bring more contrast to that area on the building. Um, because these are the whites of the paper, so I think if we had just a touch darker, just a slight glaze, just a slight glaze. Let's see, what brush do I want to do it with? I'll do the small brush. Just a slight glaze of purpley blue, and I think that would be beneficial for this painting. Let's try it. Let's just try it and see what happens. Yeah, yeah, I think that's helpful, and I think we can even kind of push it a little bit in a small way. So probably put some dark up here under that roof. There we go. Do it under here too. There we go. That's what it needed, right? I think that's what we needed. At least one thing we needed. There's still more work to do, of course. But I think that was helpful. I think that was helpful. Hard to see what I did there, but just another little glaze, little dark glaze, just to add some contrast there. Once that dries, it'll look better. I like having this area kind of blank. We have like all this stuff going on and then it's blank above it and below it. It's kind of nice. Although it would be, there's like one little line there that would be interesting to try to put in. Let's just see if it does anything, kind of like leading us across, something like that. Um, in the screen, you're coming in on the alternating between the palettes instead. The screen I'm coming in on. No, I'm using the webcam for my laptop. The palette's literally right here next to me. So I'd have to like move this camera and stuff. Like it's just not, there's no optimal way to do it right now. I'd have to just keep moving my palette back over, mixing it, and then, I mean, color mixing is not that important. It's not really important what exact colors I'm using. It's just creating a harmonious vibe to it. Like, even though I have all these colors on my palette, I'm not using all of them. I'm literally using ultramarine blue, transparent red oxide, viridian. I use this cadmium yellow, cadmium red a little bit, yellow ochre a little bit. This is convenience color. You don't need to use it. I use some of this ultramarine violet a little bit. Like that's it. I didn't use like all this other stuff. I didn't use Indian yellow. Didn't use cobalt teal. Didn't really use the alizarin. Didn't use ivory black. It's just a handful of colors, like half the palette. And having those mixtures, it's just gonna um, try to create a harmonious thing. This is a little chaotic. It's a little more chaotic than I wanted. Trying to decide if I should go back into the foreground a little bit and make it darker, but I feel like it's going to distract. I really feel like it's going to distract. I don't have, I don't really plan when I'm gonna do streams, so I don't know what date it's gonna be, but yeah, the next stream will be, the next art stream will be stream 160. So whenever 160 ends up coming up, it just depends on how many I do every week. Uh, SS asks, this might seem like a stupid question, but if you have watercolor paint from a tube, you add water to it, right? Yeah, yeah. So like this, I mean, this is all straight from the tube too. It's just dried on the palette. But if I were to squeeze it out, yeah, you're gonna water it down to some extent. You can water it down a lot. You can water it down a little bit. So there's a whole range of, this first light wash has like barely any pigment in it. It's mostly water. And then these dark darks is like a little bit of water, mostly pigment. So that it's like you're like as the painting goes on, you use less and less water. Um, so yeah, I'm not really happy with this foreground. Yeah, let's try it. Let's try it because if I'm not happy with it, then we got to just try something, right? So how long have I been doing this? 52 minutes in. Not bad. This is not bad for 1 hour. Um, be sure to check out my website, shaperfineart.com. Got some watercolors, other watercolors on there, pen and ink drawings, bunch of stuff on there. I also have a support page where you can different ways to support the channel if you enjoy what I do. And if you feel like you want to give something, then go ahead. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to hit the like button if you're tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. This one's a bit of a struggle today, but it's all right. We just keep going. We just keep going. Yeah, let's go back into some dark green, I guess. And like I said, color mix. However I get to this mixture, it doesn't really matter, right? I'm just using blue, green, brown, purple, all kinds of stuff. It's not really important. What important is what's going to look like when it's on the paper. And I don't want it to be one solid color anyway. So I want to get like a green color, then add blue to it, add brown to it. Let's see. I do want this to be soft, slightly, slightly soft. Yeah, let's try to just make it bold strokes, I guess. Too sharp. Sharp. Too dark. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Doesn't look very dark. It looks dark on the screen because it's wet for you guys. Ah, darn it. Didn't want to do that. Okay, we can do this. Make it into something. Make it into something here. Oh boy. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough looking, man. This one's not that good. Not my day, folks. Not my day for this painting. I knew this was going to be challenging, this foreground. Just didn't know how challenging. Ah, yeah. How do you learn to draw with no experience? I mean, just go to my channel page. I have a, I mean, there's, you got to be willing to search. That's the thing. You got to be willing to search on your own to like do the work, put it in, and do it. You got to get experience. What happened? I don't know what happened. This disaster happened is what happened. Might turn this into like a panoramic painting. Get rid of the foreground. Just cut this thing off. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just not too happy with this one. Yeah, the houses are good. I mean, I really love the looseness of the houses and stuff, but this foreground's a disaster, man. I should have modified. I should have just painted something different in there. Should have just made it a field with a little winding pathway or something, you know. Too late now, but that's what I should have done. I just can't. I try putting in really dark up here, and it bothers me. I don't know why. It just doesn't look good. But now this doesn't look good either. Oh, gosh. And it looks so much darker on screen for some reason. Too sharp. I don't like this line. Hmm. Thinking, folk. Just thinking. I should make a Shape Art watercolor palette. What would that be? Yeah, I was trying to think like if I did this and get this tape off of this paper. You know, it's kind of a better painting, right? If I just cut it right there or something. Because this stuff is just a mess. So you can see how the focus is more down here when we hide all this nonsense, right? This is all too distracting. Need to stagger my stroke with the dark shadow in the rose. Yeah, I'm just I don't know. I feel like dark shadows in the foreground are just gonna distract it. And then the greens are all crappy. They don't look like it doesn't look like light, you know. And I guess maybe it's the lack of shadows. But I don't know. I can try a smaller brush, I guess. I'm just not even sure what colors to use or how to go about it to make this thing look good. I guess I'll try to be more precise, but see, I don't want it to be so detailed up here. I want it to be loose up there. Let me look at the actual reference photo. I mean, it's just so chaotic. Oh man, I like the little chimneys on there. I didn't even see those. That's kind of cool. I wonder if I could still put some of those in there. That would actually help it. I put like the shadows for some of the chimneys. I want to do that. I don't want to do this nonsense in the foreground. I want to play with the house. I don't know where this pic's from. I was guessing like Norway or something, but I have no idea. Really? France looks like this? Huh. Could be. Could be. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Nope, there isn't. Only thing you can do in watercolor is to add anything you add to it's going to make it dark. So, yeah. I get what you're saying, though. It does need more in the foreground, but let me look at these chimneys again. I'll put one up. I'll put one over here and one at the bottom. Like that. And we'll put like a little shadow going up the roof. Yeah, that's kind of cool, right? That adds like a whole different dimension to this thing. They're a little dark. I don't really want to touch them much though. But that's kind of cool. Let's see if we can add another one over here or something. Like that. There we go. I think that really helps actually. That's really cool. Glad I looked at that photo again and saw those. That's like really cool. Yeah, that's true. It needs more like warm in the foreground, like yellow ochre. I was thinking about doing that. I was just like glazing it a bit with yellow ochre everywhere, making it a little bit warmer somewhere in some places. It's true. Add more light to the plants. Yeah, exactly, Don. But that's the problem, right? Everything in front of us is sharper to us, but I don't want the focus to be down here. I want you to focus here. So I want sharp things to be around here. I don't want distracting things here. You know, painting isn't about making it look like real life because like if you're focusing on if you were looking at this house off in the distance, all this stuff in the foreground is going to be blurry to you. It's going to be in your peripheral vision. You know what I mean? So that's how I try to kind of paint it, you know? So yeah, because it's not the focal point. That's why band red. The portion at the bottom is fairly detailed with the shadows. Why don't you want to make it detailed? Because it's not my focal point. You know, I don't want to add detail where it's not necessary. Like this is the kind of details I want in there, like the chimneys and stuff. I don't want like all these little shadows and stuff. I mean, I know it needs more, and maybe I put darks in here and then it slowly gets less dark as it comes toward us. You know, I don't want a bunch of nonsense, you know. But yeah, let's try to like glaze some yellow ochre, I guess, a little bit and just see what happens. It could be helpful. It could be all we need, you know, I don't know. Just try to put some of that, some warmth coming through a bit. Yeah, it starts looking weird if I do that. It looks just not good. Too yellow. Not bad, I guess, but definitely needs more shadows and stuff now. So let me use a smaller brush. Let's do it. Let's figure this out. Let's figure this out. The problem is these trees are standing upright, right? So we're not seeing the ground. Like everything looks so flat, and it's hard to separate the ground from the upright trees when they're all the same value in the photo. You know, it's like I'm not getting we're not getting a clear picture of trees, shadows on the trees versus shadows on the ground versus the ground plane versus the trees itself. Like we're getting it's getting like I don't know what you call it, like convoluted or something, you know? It's like so I'm trying to just paint the sides of the trees right now, just that are the upright vines or whatever these things are, grape plants or something. And maybe I could put the shadows on the ground be more blue and lighter, blue and purple because it's reflecting from the sky. It's an idea. So this is a bit better than what I've been doing, I feel, I hope. You know, just we need some kind of definition, and I know that. It's just I don't want to be too much. See, and it goes from a transition from shadows on the sides of these vines to these are shadows on the ground because we can't see that side of the vine anymore. This is the last row where we can see the sides of the vine, and then this row we're only seeing the top of the vine and the light side of the vine. So we're having this disconnect of what's happening, and I want to try to fix that by maybe doing more blue shadows over here. Um, yeah, that's true. Once the tape comes off, it'll. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It did need to look more random. It needed more something, you know. It's just a balance of like chaos between detail. Like, see, I like that I kind of faded it out down at the bottom here, like, because it doesn't really need to be. If I just spray that like once, it should be fine. Like, we just. It's okay having it sharper up here. That's where we want us to look at, you know. I just got to be careful with how I do this. So let's see if I can get like a blue purple. Let's see what it looks like on top of these shadows I already put down. I thought about this earlier too. Like there should be, even in the photo, it's all like mushed together. But that's what photos end up doing. They mush. See, the shadows on the ground are super dark when, in reality, I don't know if they would really be that dark, possibly. But if I can have them be like a bluish purple instead, like here, and I've already painted over it a million times, so it's not going to look, it's going to be hard to make it look like they're bluish purple. And I may need to go darker on the sides of the vines or whatever, but yeah, so you can't even tell that's like a purplish blue. Can't even, doesn't even read, unless I really cool it down. It just looks dark to you guys, but they're actually pretty blue. It's hard to get the right colors with this camera. See, maybe I should exaggerate this stuff. Just go really warm here. And then really cool on the ground. So look at these like shadows on the ground. Yeah. We're starting to get it on this row. I can kind of start seeing it. It's very difficult to tell different planes of what's happening. That this line is casting that shadow. You really can't even really tell. And that's the difficult thing. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But this, we're getting the idea that it's like a row of something. This one's like a row of something, casting these shadows. But still quite difficult. There you guys go. More detail in the foreground. You think it was better before or better now? I think it was better. It was better about 20, 30 minutes ago, to be honest. Create some softness. Try to. Better now? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I think lighter in the foreground was better. Because now this blue is just too blue and it's very distracting. All this dark. It's very distracting from this. All right, I don't know what I'm talking about. You guys know everything. You guys got it, I guess. Yeah, it's not bad actually. I'm not happy with the color in the foreground. I'm not happy with the color. I'm not happy with the shape. Not happy with like this half of painting is amazing. I love this part. This part, I'm about to just cut this painting in half, to be honest. Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe I'll look at it tomorrow and it'll be better. You know what I mean? Or maybe when it dries, it'll look better. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it does lead the eye. It's just not how I wanted it to be. Like we're still just not getting the idea of what's in the foreground. Like there's just no, it's so difficult to get the idea of that those things are off the ground like a tree, rows of these trees with shadow on the ground and shadow on the side of the like it's it's only like these two rows where you can kind of tell what's happening. Like if you guys didn't see the reference photo ever, like would you know what the heck's going on here? Especially over here, like what is happening, you know? Like that's what I'm saying. Like we don't really know what's going on. It just looks um I mean, I'm usually happy with some of my stuff at the end, you know. There's some stuff where I'm really happy with how it came out. Like I'm really happy with this part of the painting. Like I'm really happy with that part actually. Like this part of the paint, I mean look at that. That part of the painting is really good. Like I'm happy with that. I'm happy with there's not one thing here that bothers me. When I look at it, I'm like, yep, that's it. It's done. Right? Like I look at that and I might sell it that way, to be honest. I might cut this thing down just like this, if I'm being honest. But as soon as you bring in this stuff, yeah, no thanks, man. No thanks. You know, the problem is in the foreground, this stuff should be warmer, and it just looks wrong being so cool, you know? So, yeah, the bottom is a bit too hard to look at. Finally, there we go. I agree. I totally agree. How about presenting both to the public? Well, that's what I'm doing right now. But if I cut it down, I'm not, I mean, yeah, because this is You know, see, it looks a bit different now. Slightly. It's actually a bit darker. Maybe like that. It's not bad. It's not terrible. I think I like it better now. Now that I dried it, I think I like it better. I still don't like some of these blues. It's a little too harsh in the blue section. I really like these purples. I should have went more purple. Um, yeah, the blue is a little too harsh. I should have went with this kind of purple everywhere. That's what I should have done. But whatever. What am I gonna do? I can keep messing with this thing and just keep trying to make it better. Like how long can I mess with this thing and try to make it better? How much can I overwork it? It started off so nice too, man. I had all these dry brushing strokes in here. It started off really fresh, really nice. And then the second layer just was just, you know. Yeah, what stage do you like it at, Jeremy? I probably agree with you. Whenever your comment was, I don't know if I might have missed it. But yeah, I probably agree with you. If it was like 30 minutes ago or something, 30 to 40 minutes ago. Here, I'll hold it up, I guess. So you can see what there we go. Although the green screen's going to cancel out some of the green, it looks like. But not bad. It's not bad. It's just disappointing, I guess. It's a little disappointing. Just a little disappointing. I'll take the tape off and just see where it's at. Maybe it'll look better without the tape. I don't know. I don't know. Ugh. Like I said, I might look at this a few hours later, maybe tomorrow, and I might like it. It happens sometimes. Or I might just end up cutting this thing off. Cut it off down here so people can, I don't know. Can't really cut it off because I have a white edge. If I cut it off, it'd be weird. But yeah, I agree, Jeremy. When I first softened the dark shadows, that's when I liked it too. That's when I liked it. I think these are a little too sharp, a little too dark. I feel like if I just soften those a bit, it'll be better. Because my eye just keeps sticking right here when I see this painting. It's just too solid of a line, too dark, you know, too much. It'd just be softened a bit. I don't know. Anyway, how long have I been on here? Let's see. We're in 27 minutes. Probably going to get off here shortly, folks. But thanks for tuning in, witnessing this disaster in the making. It started off pretty good, but it grew into a disaster. Sometimes it happens. Not a complete disaster, just a partial disaster. Sometimes we do really good ones. Sometimes they're a struggle. Sometimes all of it's a struggle. Sometimes it's a partial struggle. You never know what we're going to get. I was pretty confident about this one. But, sometimes it happens. Yeah, this needs to be softened. There's no question. And I think the reason this is looking too sharp and it needs to be softened is because everything around this focal point I let it bleed. It's very soft. So this automatically, boom, like attracts your eye when it's very sharp. And I think that's a disaster. So it deserves a redo. No, I don't. I definitely don't want to redo this one. I definitely don't want to. If I redo this, I'm gonna change the whole foreground. To be honest, I almost want to just try to. I should have kept the tape on. I want to just try to redo the whole foreground. I wonder if I could do it. Like I could try to make a pathway that comes in this way and then goes back this way. I could try to do that somehow. But it's probably a little difficult now to try that. With all these darks and paint on there and everything. Come on, this should soften. Be softer. Just the bottom parts of it, soften down here. It looks pretty dark right now, but once I dry it, it'll dry up light. Yeah, like I said, folks, I might look at this a few hours later and I'll be like, oh, it's okay, it's good. So thanks for the feedback, JSCJ. It's good to know. Well, this is a disaster by my standards, from what I do. I mean, everyone's different, so if someone paints something really well, but it's different kind of quality, then it's not a disaster for them. You can't judge everybody's art comparing to each other. It's compared to yourself. So that's how you always have to think about it. I used to compare myself to others years ago, and it's like it's just not good to do. So you got to compare yourself to yourself. And for me, what I'm comparing is I know I've done better work than this, so I know that I can do better, and that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, exactly, Nathan. Exactly. It's the blue. It's the blue in the fields. But can't really do much now. I think we just take the loss, you know what I mean? Take take the loss and yeah, yeah, man, that's perfect analogy, Overlord. He says, I learned that in weightlifting. You have to try to beat your own personal best, not others' personal best. Yeah, you can't. Like, everybody's body is different. What I'm able to lift is going to be like nothing compared to what you lift or whatever. Like, everyone's at a different stage in the game, different level in the game. So there we go, folks. I tried my best. That's all I can do. Hopefully, someone will buy it, make me feel better about it, and it definitely looks better. It's not bad. It's really not bad. It's really not bad. It's just I just regret some of the blue and stuff I did on the foreground, but other than that, it's not bad. I just wish I would have planned it a little bit better. I didn't know this area was going to give me a lot of trouble, as much as it did, but not bad. I just didn't realize it's going to overwork it as much as I did. But it happens. I'll try to sign this thing. That's what I'm doing now. I'm just mixing up a color to sign it. Trying to get the right consistency of paint to water. Sometimes it's a little difficult. And there we go, folks. Not bad. I'll be honest. It definitely this part of it looks. There we go. Looks warmer in real life. You know, this camera always shifts the color a bit weird. So, you know, there we go. And this looks a lot grayer on the. My green screen's cutting out a lot of the green here, so that's unfortunate. Can't really show you the green painting, but yeah, not bad. Um, Thanks, will do. Definitely keep up. I will definitely keep up the great work. But yeah, maybe we revisit something like this in the future. Maybe I try to. Maybe next time I can get like some scrap sheets of paper and really try to figure out like how would you do a foreground like this? Because this is obviously a problem, right? This is obviously a problem for me. So something happened here where I need to figure out how to go about doing something like this a bit better. So that could be something that I try again. Obviously, you know, I feel pretty happy about all this. Feel happy about the wet into wet. I really love the background and the middle ground. It's just this foreground I struggle with. So just about half the painting, you know, half the painting was a struggle, but the rest of it's awesome. So anyway, guys, if nobody has anybody have any questions or anything before I get off here? Just let me know in the chat. And yeah, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Even if you didn't like the video, just like it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Just because. And be sure to check out my website. I got some other pen and ink drawings and other watercolors, you know, that I really like, really enjoy. So definitely check those out. And also have a support page. So if you like what I'm doing here, if it inspires you, motivates you, whatever, you know, check out my Patreon page and other ways to support me. I also have music you can check out that I make from time to time. All that's over on my website, shaverfineart.com. But so we got a question here. What am I going to do with it? Curiosity. I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm just gonna leave it like this, and I'm gonna go. Once I end this stream, I'm gonna go put this in the other room with the stack of watercolors, and then I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry, and yeah, pretty much that's probably it. Do you do acrylic anymore? No, I have not done acrylics since 2015. So no more acrylics, no more oil paintings either. I haven't done oils since 2019. So yeah, I'm only doing, as I showed here, I'm only doing pen and ink with a little bit of watercolor washes and stuff and watercolor. That's kind of my focus now moving forward, at least in the near future from what I know. So that's what I'm going to be doing and focusing on. So, yep. Any more questions, folks, about anything about materials or process or anything? Did you guys check out my recent video? Came out yesterday. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's pretty interesting. Anybody here watch my recent video? What do you guys think about it? It's kind of one where I was talking about not quitting drawing and stuff. Anybody see that one? What are your thoughts on that? I got a lot of comments on it. I haven't responded to them yet, but I'm going to soon. But anyway, it was good. Thanks, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let me see. Do I have any? I don't have any watercolors over here that I enjoy. Yeah, I agree, Walt. Walt says watercolors out of all mediums is the hardest to master. I've been working on my watercolors since 2009 after a long time of acrylics and oils. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely probably the most unforgiving, you know? Um, I mean, you guys saw, even in the foreground here, I could do a little bit of work, you know? I I kind of like this one now. Now that I'm looking at it on the thumbnail over here, if you guys see it, like, I kind of like it. It's not bad, actually. I like the purples here. I'm really seeing it now as it's drying more. It's not bad. I lifted up some of these darks, which kind of helped it. You know, in person, it's not bad. But my most recent video, just go to my channel. It's the most recent one, or check your subscriptions page. It's called "Don't Quit Drawing." 3 things to remember when learning to draw, or something like that. 3 things to do when learning to draw. Check that one out. Do I make sketches too? Well, I consider my pen and ink drawing sketches, to be honest. I don't really do much sketching like with graphite and stuff. I mostly just, if I sketch something, I just ink it for the most part, or I just use ink. Um, what are the books behind me? This is my just a random photo. To be honest, it's just a random photo from my. I have a green screen behind me. So see if I take this off, there's nothing behind me. It's just a green screen. So I can be in the forest if I want. You know, we can go many places. We can go many places. So I kind of like this library recently. It looks really nice. Um, remember that plein air in which you shook off one you weren't happy with it? Happy with it, then did one you loved? Yeah, that's true. I mean, exactly. I mean, it's part of the process, right? It's part of the process, Jeremy, for sure. I mean, there's going to be some that I hate, some that completely suck, and then I could do a painting. I could do a painting right now, literally like right now, and it could be the best painting I've ever done. You know, I could do one right now and it'd be like the best and most amazing thing I've ever done, or it could be even worse than the one I just did. So you never know what you're gonna get, I guess. That's the interesting thing about all this is like you never know how you're gonna perform or what's gonna happen or what's gonna work with it. Maybe the colors might suck, or maybe the drawing sucks, or the value suck. Like I had no idea that this foreground was gonna give me such a big problem. You know, that's it's part of the process. You just gotta problem solve, and sometimes I suck at solving the problem. You know, sometimes it's just it takes more time. I've never really painted something like that I can remember with these rows of stuff and having to handle that kind of thing. So it is what it is, you know. How to deal with not being happy with your art. That makes people quit a lot. Yeah, it's true. I mean, basically what I just said, you know, it's like you got to realize it's just part of the process. It's part of the learning process. As much as I didn't really like this painting, or at least the foreground, and as much as I struggled with it, I still learned a lot from it. You know, I learned like, okay, I shouldn't have done so blue here when it's closer to us. And, these purples were a little more fitting. It's probably hard for you guys to see, but probably should have gone a little bit more purple, and that's a little too light. It's actually kind of like that, but not as saturated. It's not this colorful. It's a little bit more gray. But you know, some of these is just very blue instead of being more purple. Like this is more blue, that's more purple. So, you know, it's just it's a learning process. So, yeah, even though I didn't enjoy some of the process of this one, it's just um, you know, have a great night, Nathan. What about a video on this? Uh, how to deal with art, not being happy with your art. Yeah, I mean, that's a great video idea for sure. I mean, I have a lot to say on that one. Um, Nan Q says they just bought the monkey painting you did a while ago. I watched you painted it. Amazing, I can own a piece of art that saw its creation. Well, thank you so much for purchasing a painting. Greatly appreciated. I think it was a drawing or painting, either one. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. I'll definitely ship that thing out very soon. What about drawing subscribers' requests? Well, it's possible. I ask you guys all the time what I should draw next, but if you're gonna say like anime or something, it's not gonna happen. So I'll choose what it is, but I'm cool with drawing what people recommend or suggest, request. The most important thing in watercolor is patience. It takes time to get to the final piece. If you want to achieve reality into your paint, if you want to get just a loose piece, it's more easier then. Yeah. For the most part, yeah. I get what you're saying. If you want to get something like really realistic, really detailed, then yeah, it's going to take a lot of time. We know Nathan here, he spends like, you know, hours and hours and hours on a watercolor, 20 to 50 hours. It's crazy. For me, I'd spend about 2 hours tops. If I spend more than 2 hours on it, I probably overworked it. For this size, it's probably time to just give up if I spend more than 2 hours. So let's see, what time is it, folks? Yeah, I got to get off here, folks. But thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you, Dorian. She said it looks great. The houses are especially well done. Thank you so much. I agree. I really think this is the best part of the painting right here, and it's my focal point. So, and I think these chimneys added so much more to it. Surprisingly, just having the little chimney there, and just this little bit of different color and stuff mixed in there, the blue and the reds and browns and stuff, more red here, it just makes it work. And these trees, the softness and everything, the shadow here against the light, the windows, it all beautiful right there. But and this green as well, this little patch of grass. I really think I should have done some kind of like pathway or something. Would have been so much stronger. But it happens. You never know. Sometimes I should have modified it, but I really thought this would go smoother. So it is what it is. But anyway, guys, yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next stream. I'm gonna get off here, eat some dinner and stuff. Hope you guys have a good evening. Enjoy yourself, or a good day wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll probably stream tomorrow. Might be the last one of this week, and we'll do a pen and ink drawing. So I don't know what I'm going to draw, but we'll figure something out. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care of yourself. Here's the last look at it.